I'm sick of daydreaming. I just want the feeling of you in my bed.
Hi, I'm Sarthak. I'm a high school senior from India. I gave the SAT 3 times, and the first time I gave it, I got a 1400. These were my scores. I remember crying in my room at how stupid I felt, but I realized later that I wasn't stupid, I was just very lazy. And the second time I gave the SAT, I got a 1520 with an 800 in math and a 720 on the English section. This was good, but I thought that I could do better. So I gave it for the third time, and that time I got a 790 on my English section, giving me a super score of 1590. So how did I do it? How did I go from 1400 all the way to a 1590? And to all the other high schoolers out there, if you figured out how to crack the SAT, or you do figure it out in the future with or without the help of this video, please do write an article on it, make a video on it, try to help other people out. It's always a great feeling. Okay, so I've divided this video into 2 parts. The first one being breaking the test down. So that basically talks about all the different sections, reading, writing and math, and how can you do well on them. And the second is the final 50 points. How do you break that barrier of 1500 to 1550 and ultimately reach the top scores? Like, how do you cross that final obstacle into a near perfect score? So yeah,
Take breaks no more. I've needed company from you.
I personally believe that math is one of the easier sections of the SAT, kind of. I am an Asian student who likes math, so what advice can I give you, really? Sorry, I don't really get to say that after getting a 740 on math on my first attempt. But all you ultimately need to do is understand all the question types and practice a lot, and really be careful. I cannot stress this enough. The SAT is a reading test throughout. Even math needs reading skills, even writing needs reading skills. Once you know all the concepts, formulae, and the entire coursework that you need for the SAT math section, the only thing that can stop you from perfecting it is not being able to understand what the question is really asking you and what each option is offering. So if you've paid attention in IGCSE math or AP math, then you're almost covered, and all you need to learn is a few new equations and learning how to use a graphing calculator. Some people use simpler scientific calculators, but I would really like to emphasize that a good graphing calculator and really knowing how to use it can go a very long way in getting you a perfect score on the SAT calculator section, because the calculator will not only help you with time management but make so many questions so much easier that your life will be much simpler for SAT math. So research, look for a couple of good ones and really understand how to use those calculators. For reference, I used Khan Academy like everyone, and I also used Mike Barrett's Black Book for the SAT math. Really helpful resources, you should definitely check those out. And for the graphing display calculator, I used the Casio FXCG20, and I've heard that the TI-84 Plus is fantastic.
You in my bed.
This is one of the most difficult sections to master, but once you get it, it'll be one of the smoothest sections on your test. I used to suck at reading. I got 14 questions wrong on my first attempt, but after putting in a lot of work, I got only 2 wrong on my final attempt. Now, the most important thing to understand is that the reading question does not give you any hidden information. So stop inferring things. Stop thinking that if she did that in the story, so that kind of means that this also might have happened. No. Reading is just as subjective, just as direct, and just as obvious as the math section. Believe it or not, it is. That's just how the test is designed. So step 1 is to understand that the answer is there. It's clear. You don't need to analyze and annotate the text for the answer. For basic technique, what I did was I read the entire passage first. SAT is not that fast a test, so you can do that with ease. And then I solved questions one by one, mostly. The most helpful and golden resource for me was Erica Meltzer's SAT reading book. It's absolutely amazing. It breaks the test down into different skills and it teaches them to you individually with a lot of practice questions. And at the end of the book, there's this index with all the questions from the official College Board practice test listed, and it tells that which question involves which skill from the book, so you can study those. So that's really helpful. What I did was that I studied and solved Erica Meltzer's entire book, and then I did practice tests. And once you've done Erica Meltzer, whenever you come across a question that you're having difficulty with, you will immediately know what exact skill you require, because Erica Meltzer does such a good job of breaking them down. And then I kind of reviewed all my mistakes. I actually made a spreadsheet, looked somewhat like this, of all my mistakes, and I used to write why I got it wrong, what was I thinking, and how I should have thought. And then I used to try to find patterns in those mistakes, like, is there something I don't know how to do? Is there a particular skill that I don't know how to apply? And then I wrote tips for myself, like customized. If you get a question like this, this is how you should think. This is a snapshot of the top tips I wrote for myself. I definitely recommend that you do this and you write your own.
I'm sick of daydreaming. I just want the feeling of you in my bed.
Okay, so writing. This was the section I was worst at. This is the progression of my scores, and luckily, with some work put in, I did well on my last one. Again, I used Erica Meltzer's grammar book for this one, and I followed the exact same process. Studied the book, did the practice, made a spreadsheet of my mistakes, and wrote tips for myself. Here are a few top tips for you. Read the passage as if it's a reading passage, because as I told you, the SAT is through and through a reading test. Right, once you perfect the grammar rules, 80% of the writing section is covered. But there will be 4 or 5 questions on the basic understanding of what the passage is talking about, and 2 or 3 questions about information flow. And if you don't read the passage with a reading lens, you will have a very hard time with these questions. And to get them right, you sort of need to have the exact same mindset that you do while reading a reading passage. So that's what I recommend that you do. Another tip is to actually physically draw a vertical line when you're doing punctuation questions, so that you can separate clauses and identify non-essential, independent and dependent clauses. If you don't understand what this stuff means right now and seems weird, you will understand it once you start studying for the test. At least you should understand it if you want to do well. So yeah, here is a snapshot of the top tips I wrote for myself for writing. I recommend you do the same and write your own tips.
I'm sick of daydreaming.
Alright, so breaking the barrier of the last 50 to 70 points. So we've understood how to do well on the SAT. What did I do differently that I got a 1520 on my second one and a 1590 on my third attempt? So how does that work? Number 1, invest time. Obviously, do not think that you're a genius and you can perfect the test with your natural intellect. The SAT needs training and practice. Number 2, picking material. Very important. Only use official College Board practice tests. Do not use different third parties like Kaplan or Barron's or the Princeton Review. They all suck and they will ruin the test for you. Don't think that solving tougher questions for practice will make the test seem easier. No, it will make the test feel weird and different, and it's not going to help you. There are 10 official College Board practice tests out there. All of the 10 are on the College Board website. Pro tip, only 8 are there on the Khan Academy website. So get the other 2 from the College Board website. Alright, and there are about 8 to 10 QAS practice tests that you can find on Reddit or anywhere on the internet. QAS basically means question and answer service. So those are basically past SAT papers that you can practice, which actually appeared for someone at some point in time. You don't need to find other third-party material from cracksat.net or whatever weird book that claims that their material is exactly like the actual SAT or very close. No, it's not. Please stick to College Board material. Number 3, and the most important tip, focus on mistake reviewal. If you think that doing those 18 tests, doing 2 tests a day, or doing 100 questions on Khan Academy every day is going to help you, no, it's not going to get you anywhere, because getting similar questions wrong over and over again aren't really going to help you progress. So what you should do is do 1 practice test a day, or that too during crunch time. Do 1 practice test a week, do practice questions every day, and focus on the mistakes, focus on what you're getting wrong, focus on the particular skills that you're not naturally good with. There will be some elements of the test that you will have sort of a natural flow with, and they'll be easy for you, but there'll be some things that you don't really get. So what you need to do is train yourself for those. But what's more important is initially identifying what those areas are. So that's what you need to do. And that's why you really need to work on that spreadsheet, work on those tips, work on why you're getting stuff wrong and how you're supposed to think. That's the most important thing when it comes to actually being good at the SAT. So yeah. Number 4 is peace of mind. It's kind of weird to think about, but it's very important. So I'll just give you an example. When I gave my second SAT attempt, I deleted Instagram, I deleted WhatsApp, I didn't talk to anyone, I didn't leave my house. I used to study for about 50 hours a week, and I did well. I got a 15-20, but I had so much pressure on me that I kind of cracked and I didn't do as well as I could. And when I gave my third attempt, I was much more relaxed. There's a lot of difference between doing well on a mock and doing well on the actual SAT, because I understand how much pressure there is. Your entire college is on the line. There's hours and hours and weeks of hard work involved, and people crack under pressure. So find ways to calm yourself down and stay chill during the SAT. So that's very important. These are the ways I think I did well on the SAT, and hopefully you do well on the SAT too with the help of these tips. I'm actually in the process of applying to college right now, and I will be making a video on that, like where I apply to, the decision reactions, whatever that is. So if anyone actually ends up watching this video, which is highly unlikely, please leave a comment down below. I don't really know how YouTube really works, so subscribe and like. And if you want to see my college journey, where I get into, please stick together, and yeah, we'll see.
I'm done with all this FaceTime, need some alone time, baby. You're always running in my mind. I'm sick of daydreaming, I just want the feeling.